The famed tourist attraction, the Waitomo Glowworm Caves, had to shut a number of times over summer because, believe it or not, excessive carbon dioxide levels, driven partly by booming visitor numbers, meant that, well, there were times people couldn't go in. The chair of the Caves Environmental Advisory Group is worried the burgeoning tourist numbers could mean for one of the country's most visited natural features. He told Kate Gudsall the potential to damage the caves is very high, and he wants the government to step up and provide better protection.
About 500,000 people visit the Waitomo Glowworm Caves every year, making them the most popular caves in the Southern Hemisphere. Tourism Holdings is the leaseholder and operates the Discover Waitomo Group, which includes the Waitomo Glowworm Caves, Ruakuri Cave and Aranui Cave. The chief executive of Tourism Holdings, Grant Webster, says the Glowworm Caves have been shut down about 5 times over summer because the level of carbon dioxide in the caves has got too high.
There have been some occasions where we've closed the caves for short periods of time to manage the CO2 levels within the cave. That's not an unusual occurrence, and it's something that's happened year on year on year.
Mr Webster says visitors are usually very understanding about the closures, which are not often for long periods.
The time varies again, very much dependent on the weather and what's happening. So it could be anything from half an hour can actually bring the levels back down quite quickly through to it could be 2 or 3 hours.
Grant Webster says it's not just visitors who are to blame for carbon dioxide levels, with weather and ventilation also playing a role. But the chair of the operator's External Environmental Advisory Group, an expert scientist in this field, Auckland University Professor Chris de Freitas, has no doubt about the cause.
There is a link, a very close link. The more people in the cave at any one time, the higher the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and of course that's a key facet of the physical environment of the cave, and it affects the cave's environment as well as the ecosystems within the cave.
A senior lecturer at Waikato University, Adam Hartland, works on cave systems. He says more people will mean higher carbon levels, but he says Tourism Holdings is responding appropriately.
The likelihood is that any corrosion that's happening would be happening very slowly. So, we're not likely to see stalagmites dissolving before our eyes anytime soon. However, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't, be cognizant of that and try and manage it conservatively. When it comes to the glowworms, my understanding is that they don't appear to be showing a great deal of sensitivity to the CO2 levels that they're experiencing.
Dr de Freitas says caves are incredibly sensitive and damage can take tens of thousands of years to heal. And he believes the government has a custodial role to play in the preservation of caves, similar to what DOT does with national parks or marine reserves.
It's a gaping hole in New Zealand's environmental legislation. There's no protection at all for caves, or no management guidelines for show caves or commercial tourist caves. This is in sharp contrast to, say, places like Croatia, Slovenia, Italy, where they're very sophisticated legislation in place, even Australia, to protect caves that are used for tourists and ensure that they're properly managed.
Dr de Freitas says it's sheer good luck that Tourism Holdings is managing the caves in a responsible and conscientious way, because there is no legislative obligation to require it to do so. For Checkpoint, Kate Gudsall, 10A.